Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Meaghan Chitwood Live, powered by BNI. So in this episode, we are bringing the positivity. We're bringing the positivity in the form of Cherry. Cherry is here with us. We're going to talk all about, one, her business, Anytime Heating and Air, but also we're going to talk a lot about how to invite visitors because she is the queen of it. And I can't wait to share all of her awesome knowledge with all of you. So let's get started. You can catch our show every Friday at 11 a.m. Central Time on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube. You can also catch us on Instagram as recording as well. So with that, Cherry, welcome to the show.
Hi.
So first, I want to talk to you. Let's talk a little bit about your business. So you work with Anytime Heating and Cooling, an HVAC company out of Huntsville. How did you end up with an HVAC company? Because you don't exactly fit that mold perfectly.
Well, I actually met my boss in Strictly Business when I was ambassador of his chapter. And then I ran into him and his wife at a home show, and he just has a great personality. He totally believes in BNI. He did step out of Strictly Business and put our sales guy in there to try and help him and motivate him and help us get business. And he sees the value in BNI 100%. So that's kind of how I got asked to do it. He saw what a good job I was doing in Gateway for my cousin's chiropractic office.
So you're really kind of like this, you're kind of a network for hire. So tell people about what your day looks like when you're marketing your business.
So, first of all, I would say network, 100%. It's my favorite thing to do, connecting people, meeting people. They say I'm a walking Rolodex. So when people want to meet with somebody or connect with a certain person, I always have somebody in mind to let them know about. It's a real range. I've got a range from Florence all the way to Birmingham, here in Huntsville, Scottsboro, where I grew up. A normal day for me is, hey, what can I accomplish today? Who can I meet? What networking events can I go to? I used to go to the Rise networking events for coffee. I've been to the Chamber ribbon cuttings. And then also a big part of my life every day is BNI and going to sub and other chapters.
And what do you think is the value of how do you get business from the networking that you do?
So the biggest thing, I even have cross chapter referrals, but the biggest thing I say is building relationships with people. All the networking that I do, even if it's nighttime or in my Bible study group or my women in business group, all those people that you meet and invite and connect with, you add value to their life. So in return, they're going to want to reciprocate and send you business. And I've gotten tons of leads from property managers, realtors in different groups. A lot of my leads, women in business. I mean, how many women in business is an HVAC person going to walk in and try to sell you HVAC? So I try to educate them on keeping the annual maintenance on their units, preventing anything like that, like large repairs on their units. One lady, her husband passed away in our women in business, and she called us right away. Hey, I think my unit needs to be checked out. She had an amp problem that messed up the capacitor. So anything like that she didn't know about. So I do try to go in and educate them a little bit about HVAC, not saying that women don't know that kind of stuff, but a lot of women don't. Their husbands handle it. So that's how I add value. I mean, I just try to promote our company as well as get to know them and their business.
So I one of my favorite stories is about a friend of mine in upstate New York who's a business consultant, yet people call him for everything, right? And his punchline is, if they call me for everything else, they'll call me for business consulting as well. That sounds very much like your philosophy also, is if they know me and I'm helpful, I'm going to be the person they call when it comes to HVAC, right? Is that kind of how it
Well,
works for you?
totally works that way.
Yeah, I love it. And you've also said before that basically you help enough other people and the money will come, right?
Right.
If you help just keep everyone going, that will happen. How do you think you came to that conclusion as kind of a philosophy of how you operate?
So when I first heard about BNI, my cousin kind of threw me into it on a visitor's day, and there were 100 people literally there. I was terrified. I said, "What is BNI?" And he said, "Well, just go say your name, what our company is, and promote our business." I said, okay. So I go in, I stand up, I'm shaking. Um, and I say, I would love for y'all to come do business with us. Well, then I learned what the traffic lights were. And that's kind of like a report card where you learn how well you're doing in the chapter. And my biggest thing is I don't like looking at the numbers like the financial advisor, CPA, some of those people do. I more or less go by the giver's gain philosophy, and that's all about building relationships. And once I learned that, it's kind of natural to me anyway. I'm real outgoing, but I care more about helping everybody else than focusing on what I'm getting out of it. My boss, of course, keeps up with all the numbers and what we are actually getting, but I'm more of the type of person that I really care about the people. I'm there for them. And when you build those relationships with people, like the positive attitude part, Meaghan, we were talking about, when you build that value with people, they're going to remember you, and they're going to, I get text messages, emails all the time, messages through Facebook. Hey, Cherry, I need a person that can do this. Or, hey, Cherry, I see you're out having so much fun. Well, when I'm out having fun, or even at night, if I'm at Bible study or something that we go to, an after hours event, it's all because I want to build those relationships. And my biggest thing is when the new person is in the room, like when I moved here 8 years ago, I didn't know anybody and I was really scared. Like, how am I going to get to know people? Well, when my cousin asked me to go into BNI for him, it was amazing. Like, all the connections you make and all the friends you make, those friendships last forever. And even if they get too busy and get out of BNI or get out of the chamber, whatever, they are still going to be there, and you still do business with them. Because I had a realtor call me recently, Cherry, my house is having issues. They have several kids, we really need it fixed. Well, she wanted a big unit, like the biggest we had. It took the guys all day to go in and install it, but she is so happy now. So you build that value in relationships, and I think it is so important to not only do BNI, but also outside of BNI. If you have time to go meet for coffee, like we've done before, get to build those relationships. Those people are going to remember you, and they reach out to me all the time and they say, "Hey, how do I get in a BNI group?" Like, I've got realtors messaging me now, "How do I get in a BNI group? How do I do this?" People reach out to you. They learn to count on you and respect you, and they'll want to do business with you.
So I think a big part of that too is also how you present yourself, right? And you brought up positivity. Would you like to give your core value on positivity? Because you always do. That's what we go to when you're on a call and we're talking about core values. But
So
yeah, talk about positivity, because I think that's another piece of being someone who people gravitate towards.
So yesterday I got up in Gateway in my chapter here in Huntsville, and I said, the president asked me to get up and give my favorite core value, and it's always positivity. Because if you come into a room full of people, and whether you're scared, you're having a bad day, whatever personal issues you are going through, if you sit in the back of the room or in your own little group and you never talk to anybody, or you come in, you're complaining and griping about everything going wrong in your life, people are not going to want to gravitate towards you. They're not going to want to do business with you. And that is huge to me. I always try to make people feel important, because you never know what they're going through. Just like my aunt's about to pass away. She's 90, bless her heart. All of her kids are there supporting her. They're all three chiropractors, but they're having a really hard time. And it's that time of year where you don't know what people have been through. You don't know what their loss is. And if you can put a smile on their face and give them, like, "Hey, I'm here for you this week. If you need anything, if you need me to help you find employees right now, I'm here for you." And positive attitude goes a long way with people. They'll really want to send business to you. They'll want to get to know you. They'll want to have one-to-ones with you. That is huge to me. If you come in there like negative Nancy, I call them, and always complain or always gripe about something going on, people are not going to want to hang out with you, I call it. So always be positive no matter what you're going through. Somebody may be going through something worse than you, and if you can put some light on their face or some sunshine, I always say, come on, guys, let's have a positive attitude and do something kind for everybody.
So this is a little philosophical, but I'm going to go here with you because I think you have a very similar philosophy. Because you can choose to be happy and positive, right? You can have all kinds of things going wrong in your life. Like your life hasn't always been and isn't always the easiest, right? So how do you just decide to be positive in those situations?
So everybody goes through things in life. My parents' divorce, my divorce, my mom passed away. If you choose to rumble in that or lay in that every single day and just dwell on the negative, you're not going to be happy. And true happiness, I listen to the Dalai Lama and stuff. True happiness is if you can stay healthy, concentrate on your friends, your family, all the positive things that you can't buy or purchase with money. I think that's true happiness. And no matter what I've been through, I always try to show light towards people and be a good positive influence on people. And that's why I love being a part of BNI, and I'm always networking, because some people say, Cherry, do you ever sleep? No, I can lay in bed all night and look for what people's complaints are on Facebook, or what can I do to help somebody? And if I don't feel like I've accomplished that every day, then I'm kind of let down. So if you go in, like my boss said, you're always like a bright shining light at work. And I love that about him, because he's the same way. He always tries to see the good in people. But if you can share that with others, especially with customer service, we've talked about customer service is huge to me. I've always been in an industry. I was in banking 12 and a half years, worked for my cousin's chiropractic office, his dad's chiropractic office. It was easy for me to talk about. When I went to the HVAC company, it was a lot harder. I even called Meaghan. Hey, Meaghan, is my chapter going to accept me now? Because I'm selling HVAC that I know nothing about. And I was terrified. But listen, everybody has accepted me. They said, which my boss helps me with my presentations when I do them. But every time I say something, they listen to me. They said, Cherry, you can tell you've learned a lot. You've picked up on it. And that's another thing in BNI, is it constantly gives you ways to learn, to focus on your business, but not only your business, your personal growth and your personal development. So that's what I love about it. And y'all laugh because I'll wear my BNI hat around, or wherever I'm going, I try to promote BNI because I just love it. I totally believe in business networking. And if you're in a chapter, you can volunteer to go sub at other chapters. And I've made so many friendships through that. I've gotten so much business through that. And I'll take that with me wherever I go, no matter what company I'm working for. But I love anytime.
Absolutely. So that was the piece of advice I gave you is, Cherry, we trust you, right? If you're going to align yourself with a brand, we're going to trust that brand because you've decided to align yourself with it. And yeah. I mean, and that absolutely came to fruition. I also think there's huge value in having, like, it's great for the business, the owner to be able to talk details about the HVAC and all those kinds of things. And for the, I imagine most of your technicians are men, right? Getting a little stereotypical, but right. So that's going to make the guy feel really, the husband or the partner feel really, really comfortable, but also having you on the other end of like, all right, I can feel comfortable not knowing much because you'll be compassionate with me about not knowing HVAC. I think that's a huge, powerful combination that you guys have as a company.
Yeah, I've learned a lot, like capacitors, compressors, what Freon is, all that good stuff, what your thermostat setting should be on. So what little I know and I've picked up on, it goes a long way, especially when you're up asking for your specific ask every week in BNI. But not only that, just all the friendships that you make. Like I said, I'm trying to help Meaghan launch chapters right now, because when those seats get filled, you can't come in and fill them. So we're offering new chapters, and I've had so much fun meeting all these new people, telling them how excited I am that they're getting in B&I networking, because it's really going to help any business grow. I mean, I went from a chiropractic seat to an HVAC seat, a totally different world. I've seen the Mary Kay lady in our business, Carly, Naomi, they do exceptionally well in B&I. So it doesn't matter what you do. Any business can benefit from growing, have a good customer service. That's number one. If we can't get to our customer right away, if we're waiting on a part, that drives me crazy. We will call the supply house a million times. Where's our part? They're waiting. I had that recently happen with another chiropractor in another group, and they have a little baby, and they were waiting and waiting on this part. Finally, the service manager called Birmingham, where he used to work, and said, "We need this sent up here right now." So there's always, like you said, you kind of got to work around whatever situation you're in, just like we used to always be in person. And then during the pandemic, we all had to go online, and Meaghan had to figure that out. It's amazing. You still have those connections, but in person is 100% better, building those relationships, and it makes a difference.
Absolutely. So for someone, because you did move here 8 years ago, right? So you have gone from knowing no one to knowing everyone. For somebody who's coming in brand new to an area, what would you how are you so bold as to just jump in and get started?
Well, I can tell you the first time I even heard about BNI, I was in a church group in Hampton Code called the Newcomers Group, and they're phenomenal. Leah and Paula, there's a lot of realtors in there. Oh my God, amazing women. I met April and got her in BNI. She became president of another chapter, April Chazzy. There were amazing connections there. And somebody said, "Hey, there's an insurance guy looking for somebody to come work for him." And it was CJ Monty at State Farm. Well, he always told me, because I loved handling the claims and the restoration side of things and getting on to my adjusters if they were making my customers wait. So he said, "Make sure you put that referral in to Bass Wallace at Yellowhammer." And I'd be going, "Okay." And then I started hearing more and more about BNI. And that's when my cousin said, "Hey, can you come help me grow my business?" He had a new chiropractic office, and we have 8 cousins that are chiropractors. So it was so easy to learn what BNI was and promote his company, because I knew a lot about it. But when you get to know people and you get involved in stuff like newcomers, I totally suggest, like, even in my Bible study, I've met so many women, and they're so amazing. Lori Fisher, she's a business coach. She's traveled all over the world meeting people and helping coach their business. There's just a lot of people that you meet if you get outside your comfort zone. And the photographer that logged on yesterday that's going to join our Madison chapter, he's awesome, but he said, "I'm a big introvert." And I said, "We'll get you over that." And he started laughing because he could totally see that he wanted to join right away, which Emily and me were so excited. But Robin brought him on our nonprofit organization. It can help anybody. Like, if you get outside your comfort zone, go meet people, get involved in the chamber, any type of networking, but especially BNI, I'm all about promoting it because it can help any company.
Well, and I think one of the newcomers is a great idea, right? Because everybody's new, you're starting off slow, everybody's in the same boat as you if you're brand new, right?
Right.
If you're not new to the area, but you're kind of new to business, I loved BNI because it forced me into a process of getting to know people, right?
Right.
Because it, like, you join this process that you then become a cog in the wheel of all of it. And then you can take it to a place where there's less structure, right? Because if you're just going, I remember not having gone to a chamber event for probably 7 years, and then going to an after hours and walking in and not recognizing anyone. And I do this professionally, right? I should be able to pull this off, but my heart was pounding. I don't recognize anyone. Do I even know how to walk up to somebody and start up a conversation? Does that seem weird? Do all these people know each other? You get all of that, but because BNI has that structure, it's just like, we're going to bring you into that structure, and you're going to start fully participating in it day one, really.
Yeah. And I love that. And I really think, I know some people are scared. I try to take new people, especially if they're new. Dana Murner said before, when I come online to our meetings we're trying to launch, and she's like, you say hi to everybody. Were you one of those girls in high school that would walk down the hall and say hi to everybody? And I said, yes, especially if they were new. I always wanted to make people feel comfortable. So to me, that's a big part of it, is getting out of that comfort zone. Meaghan, like, I can't even picture you not being able to talk to people. But yeah, I had to get over that fear of standing up in the room doing my presentation, because I would just tremble. But you get over that. BNI helps you really understand how to promote yourself and your business, and you get over that fear. And I may not always say or sound like a little country girl being from Scottsboro, but I've learned to promote and just be myself. Don't be something fake, be genuine, and really care about people. And the whole philosophy of givers gain really works. It's more about giving to me. And that's why I work for other people instead of having my own business, because I've been asked that 100 times. I love helping everybody else. And that's what brings me joy personally. And that's what I was put on here on earth, I think, to do, because I don't want to ever get out of being, I really like it, and it can help anybody's business grow. And that's why I love being a part of the chapter launch team. So thank you for letting me help with that.
Oh God, I have to thank you. Yes, I have to thank you. Not making this about me, but yes, you've been an amazing part. I think it's also just, I think key messages from what you have said is being positive, right? If you're the most positive person in the room, you are going to be noticed, right? You're going to be noticed. You're going to be remembered. Being noticed and remembered and catching people's attention is the biggest thing about marketing. And especially if you're in person, like that's what you are, and that's what you really need to embrace. So how are you going, how are you going to do that? It doesn't have to be the way Cherry does it. It can be a great conversation. It can be being really helpful. But I think also one of the things I love sharing with people is the more you can help everybody else, you're just going to stay top of mind all the time. I mean, I would venture to say there's probably no one that you've ever come in contact with that you could not call today and say, hey, can you do me a favor? And they wouldn't say, yes, Cherry, what do you need? Right? I mean, really, right? Because you've poured into everybody else so much. Like one person once recently said to me, this was in the last year, they said, what just amazes me is that there are so many people who are willing to help you. Talking about me. And I'm like, so that doesn't just happen, right? That doesn't happen. That is years of pouring into other people. You spend years pouring into other people and not expecting a thing in return. And then you have a simple ask and, they'll give it to you all day long.
Right.
Yeah.
Totally.
And it's just time to really do that.
And it makes me feel good, especially when people are reaching out saying, hey, Cherry, do you know somebody I need to hire a secretary? Or do you know somebody that can do this? Or that means more to me than anything, because that means they're trusting me enough that they can call on me for anything. And just like some of my friends from high school say, Cherry, I watch you all the time. You're always out having fun. And I'm like, well, I'm working too. I'm really networking, and there's a reason, is because I'm trying to build these relationships. I'm trying to get people involved in business, because especially the women in business, I love supporting it. And yesterday I had a visitor at Gateway, and it was a Bria, and she's a part of the women in business. And I've been trying to get her in there. She's going to be our personal trainer. So she's applying, and I'm so excited. She is awesome. And I just love supporting not only women, guys too, but if you want to help people and you really say, I got your back, then they're going to have your back. So that's how Absolutely. I look at it. And there's so many people I've met in Birmingham too. I wish I could go to Birmingham more. I told Glenna, I'd love to come check out her chapter. And I've met Cindy there and John Chambers in Pinnacle, but having the time, it's just hard too.
Absolutely. So one last thing for the BNI members, you are superhuman when it comes to having visitors, pretty much. Yeah, superhuman. What is a tip that you can say? What is a tip? You meet somebody at a restaurant, right? How do you strike up that conversation to say, hey, I really do think BNI would be an interesting thing for you to for you to come and check out?
This is funny. It happened recently. Marsha Anderson and my Women in Business sells Juice Plus, and my friend Anna is a beautician, and we were all out at Tom Brown's restaurant. And the waiter was cute, kept coming, waiting on us, and we all started talking to him. What else do you do? And we're like, you need to come to BNI and you need to start networking. And it was so funny because he was real young, and you get those young people right out of college or in college, they're very motivated and they want to get out and meet people and know how to grow their business. So a lot of those, like even starting my Gunnersville chapter, a lot of those were very motivated people to get that chapter going. And I just think the biggest part, like you said, is the positive attitude, connecting with everybody. My boss, him and his wife, Matt and Rachel, they're amazing. They see the value in how much networking I do, even if it's day or night. You want to get out and just build those relationships with people. But inviting people is so easy to me, I guess, because I'm just friendly. I always say, hey, what do you do? Can you give me your card? I really use business cards. I hand them out to people when I hear that they need something. And that brings value too, because they're going to have it right in front of them. They're going to remember to call them. But just asking people, you genuinely have to go up and act like you care. Don't act like it's about you and what you can get out of it. That's the number one thing with me is if you come up and you sound like a car salesman, I'm not going to bite into it. If you're genuine, you really care about me and what's going on with me and that you're trying to help me grow my business, then yes, I'm going to come. I'm going to check it out and see what you're doing. I just genuinely say, hey, I'm Cherry. I'm in BNI Networking. I would love to have you come check out our launch team or come check out Gateway. There's several groups here in Huntsville. You're welcome to go visit, but I'd love to have you come visit ours. And we usually have a lot of fun. And that's why I love being visitor host is I always try to make them feel comfortable as soon as they walk in the door and just be genuine and act like you care and you want to help them.
It is really, it's just a matter of, hey, what do you do? Is it a gap or is it a business does well in BNI, right? And then I genuinely want to help you grow your business. So would you like to come check this out?
Yeah, and it's a big decision for somebody to join, but I always say, hey, it averages out to maybe $15 a week and you have a whole room of people marketing for you. So why would you not do it? It's like a no-brainer.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it does seem so. You just thoroughly believe in it too, right? It has changed your business. It's changed your cousin's chiropractic business. It's changed, your ability to bring in referrals for Anytime Heating and Air as well. So you really do just sincerely believe in it and sincerely want other people to have the same experience you've had too.
When my boss, Matt, hired me, I said, don't hold me back. That's the number one thing I ask is don't hold me back because I'm going to grow your company and you better be ready. We've already hired 3 new people this year and bought 2 new vehicles. So we are booming and there's always a constant need for HVAC, air conditioning, or heating. People are always calling us. I even get texts and calls on the weekends from BNI people. Hey, I hate to bother you. And I'm like, you're not bothering me. I'll get somebody over there right away. And I always have good feedback. I'm always like, how did my technician do? Were you happy? Were they friendly? And they're always bragging about how good Matt's team is. So I have no doubt that he's going to be very successful in the future and we're going to continue to grow. So he's not holding me back. And that's what I love.
So if you were talking to another HVAC company in another area about BNI, what would you tell them about your experience?
Sure. I've had other people reach out to me in Birmingham and stuff. I would definitely say get involved in a BNI. And the number one thing I hear with tradespeople is, oh, I'm too busy. Oh, I'm too busy. And I'll say, oh, you're too busy to make more money. You're too busy to grow your clients. And they'll look at me funny. And I'm like, I'm offering you something where you could totally boom and grow and build your business, get employees. I've even had a girl come in that was a job placement service from California. I've met a couple people from California and brought them in, and they get so excited because they don't know anybody. They don't know what step to start taking. And I've even cold called, and Emily laughs at me, but I'll cold call people. Hey, we got this great group. I just want you to come check it out. And it's a free advertisement for you. You can just stand up and promote your business. So a lot of times they get really nervous, and I just tell them, you just have a few seconds, just stand up and say your name and your business. You're putting a plug in of what it is and where it is. And so that's how I get people. I cold call, I go visit people when I hear they're new to town. But my biggest thing is I really love when people want to get their business going, but HVAC or any trade, plumbing, electricians, they're really hard to keep in the group. So like with Matt, he sees the value in BNI and wants me to stay in it. He totally gets what BNI can do for your business. And when people see that and it clicks, Meaghan, I think it's awesome because I mean, there's so far you can go with an HVAC company. Everybody's going to need air conditioning. Everybody needs Freon, or everybody's fan motor or capacitor goes bad, so they need somebody to come fix it because they want to be comfortable in their house.
And I'm going to tell you, with calling up someone's sight unseen from a Google search, they don't give you priority like somebody who knows you personally does. Just huge benefit for the people in the room to really know. Huge benefit to them as well.
And I had a nonprofit recently that I had done an event for a couple years ago at Space and Rocket Center. And this police officer called me and he said, hey, would you like to come promote your business at this thing we do every year with the police department? And I was like, I barely remembered him because it had been so long ago, but he had held on to my card. So I thought that was really cool. Like, you never know who's watching and who's keeping up with your business card and who can help promote you. So it's a lot of fun. I think Huntsville's booming and growing, and any company can grow right now, especially if they have the right network and the right people promoting them.
Oh my gosh, that is the most perfect final word. Cherry, thank you so much for being a part of the show. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you, Meaghan.
Yeah, it was great having you today.
Thank you, Meaghan.
Yeah, no problem. All right. Next week, it is all, again, a holiday episode, giving a little bit of gratitude, a little bit of planning. What do you ultimately want 2022 to look like? And that will be on our next show. Thank you so much for being here, and we'll see you next week.